Good morning, hello from the car. I'm currently on my way to get some groceries and I thought today would be the perfect day to take you along and kind of show you how I go about my monthly grocery shopping and then meal planning and all of that. So that's what's on the schedule today. We have a place that you can work out for a couple hours and then you get everything 35 cents a pound. They just weigh your cart when you're done shopping. And so whatever it is, whether it's cheese or meat or milk or fresh produce or frozen stuff or dry goods, like anything, it just gets weighed by the pound. So it's been such a blessing to our family and such a nice way to save on groceries. Right now it's saving us about $150 a month, and I do my meal planning a little bit backwards because I actually first go shopping. It's almost like a Costco style place, I would say, as far as it's like more bulk things. You never know what they're going to have, but usually we find something. If you're new here, I am Steph, a mom of 4, and we actually live on a farm, so we get all our fresh milk there as well as our own raised beef and pork. So those are some things I don't need to be looking for. However, especially this time of year, I'm really looking for all the fresh produce and of course all the other things that it takes to feed a large family. So anyways, I'm always excited to go. It's kind of like a treasure hunt. You never know what they're gonna have. I hope it's successful. I kind of go backwards in order of how we get things done because of that. So I first go grocery shopping. Right now we're going once a month, so we usually have 2 like whopping cartfuls, and then I go home and we'll lay everything out. I'll give you a grocery haul once we're home and sit down and chat about how I go about my meal planning from there. So I hope that today's video is helpful. Even if you might not have a place like this right where you live, you could totally also do this with Costco and just kind of check out like the flyers, what's on sale, and meal plan from there. Or you could swap this around and do your meal plan first and then go grocery shopping, which is probably the more traditional route. But it is a beautifully sunny morning and it's looking like a really good day. We are back now from the grocery shopping. I think it was pretty successful. This is my haul here behind me. And I should probably also mention that since it is so much bulk buying, we do usually stock up pretty good on what we can find there that we know we're going to use. So some of the things that we bought this month will probably last us a couple months. And also we have some things still from previous months. So for example, a little while ago, we bought this 50-pound bag of rolled oats, which lasts us a long time. So we are pretty well set up to be able to do that. But let me show you what we picked up today and then we'll talk about the meal planning. So starting with these juice bottles, if I can turn it around. These are the Tepache mango, and I was looking at the ingredients. We drink very little juice, but this is supposed to be, I think, some kind of a probiotic drink, and Josh has been fighting a cold, so I thought that that would be good for him. I also picked up 2 little boxes of peppermint tea. I got a couple of coffee creamers for Josh. This is a gingerbread coffee creamer, and then this is just a cold brew coffee. Got a bunch of Brussels sprouts. We love Brussels sprouts. Also had some corn on the cob that I picked up. There's some ranch dressings. Abby loves snacking on raisins, so we picked up some golden raisins and then queso fresco. It is so tasty on salads. It's like a crumbly cheese. So we got 2 boxes of that. And then I don't normally get this kind of thing. This is some kind of a cheese, jalapeno cheddar cheese dip. But I thought this would be good for a Super Bowl party coming up. I want to make like a buffalo chicken dip, and I thought this would be good in there. So that's what I got this for. We have a bag of radishes to put in salads, a bunch of oranges, and then some yogurts. Now, normally they have more yogurt. This is just strawberry yogurt. Usually they have a really good yogurt selection, but that was not today. And then I got a bunch of these roasted garlic hummuses. I think there's 5 of them. Also picked up 2 cans of sauerkraut. We have some tomatoes. These are kind of like the little heirloom tomatoes. And then, I've never seen these before, but these are sugar-free cones. They are sweetened with erythritol, which is interesting. I'm excited to try those. This is just a ranch dressing, and then this one I thought looked pretty good. This is Toby's feta cheese dressing. I looked at the ingredients and they look pretty good. Then there are 3 of these young chickens rubbed with seasonings. I'm not sure what seasoning that is on there, but looked really easy to just throw on the smoker. Picked up a bunch of kale as well as broccoli. I have some rice cakes here just for snacking. We have some hot dog rolls, hamburger rolls, some tomatoes for slicing. And then up here, this is definitely something we don't get every time, but we are getting ready to go on family vacation, and I thought some salted potato chips would be handy to have for kind of some special meals, as well as we have a whole box here of the Herd tortilla chips. Oh, I didn't open this, I guess. This is little things of sour cream. There is some organic Wallaby plain yogurt in here. I believe there's 4 boxes of that. And then we have stacks of butter. So this is unsalted butter, and obviously we can make all the butter we want just from milk here on the farm, and it tastes so much better. However, it takes a lot of time, and our cream separator is currently not working. So I thought, you know what, we'll grab a bunch to hold us over. I use it a lot in baking. I don't use any vegetable oil, so we go through a ton of butter. So that's why we still bought the butter, and same goes for yogurt and that kind of thing. It's all things I love to make just on the farm, and often do, but it is also nice to have on hand, especially to go on trips and that kind of thing. So anyway, that's what I had in mind there. And then we have a big box. Oh, Abby got tomatoes on the floor. Did you dig in Mama's tomatoes? Oh no, we'll have to clean that up. A big box of this 50-50. It's the 50% spring mix, 50% baby spinach, and those are so good in salads. And then over here we have 2 boxes of brie, as well as these are just the plastic, like biodegradable containers, as well as these are like shallow bowls or little plates kind of. And then this is just a bunch of flour. There's a couple different kinds, but basically just I make a ton of sourdough stuff, and so that's what I'm planning to use this for. And then we have quite a few boxes of this string cheese. Such a nice high protein snack for the kiddos, easy to grab, and I can also shred this with my food processor for shredded cheese. So I believe all 4 of these boxes are that. And then maybe you can help me out. This is some kind of cheese, but I'm not quite sure what it is. But I saw it there and I was like, you know what, we should try it. So some sort of cheese, but I'm not quite sure what it is. Ready for the next step in the process, but before we write down our actual menu, I want to show you around a little bit in our freezer room, how we have that all set up. I have a pretty good grasp of what's down there, but I wouldn't mind a little reminder myself before I plan. And then also our little pantry room. I don't think I've ever taken you into our basement before. It is nothing fancy. It's just an unfinished basement. And even the freezers could be more organized, but it's where we're at right now. But I love how the system flows right now, and it's so easy. I know that if I want pork, I go to this freezer. If I want beef, I go to this freezer, and so on. And so that is super handy as I cook, but also as I take inventory first of all my ingredients that I currently have on hand. So let's take a look. So this is my pantry area, and all this was full of canned goods at the end of fall, which is always so rewarding. But as you can see, we've eaten a lot of it already. The top just has some cloth napkins, candles, candle holders, that kind of thing. Things that I like to use to set the table for guests, but don't use frequently because as you can tell, I can't even reach it. So next up we have our pizza sauce, and then there's a couple kinds of salsa up here. We also have some tomato juice, and we did have a lot of ketchup, but we actually ate all of that already. And then next up is sweet pepper jelly, which if you're from Pennsylvania, you're probably well familiar with. If you're not, it's literally like a pretty spicy jelly. People love to eat it on crackers with some cream cheese. It's really tasty. And then we have all the grape juice that we canned, as well as a little bit of grape jelly, some relish, and some red beets. So that's literally everything that I have left from my canning last year. I'm realizing next year or this year I guess, I will need to really up my game on canning some more. Next up are things that we've stocked up from the place that we were shopping at. So we have some of the stuff for grilling, some hot dog hamburger rolls, some tortilla chips. We have some potato chips, the rice cakes. These are the sugar-free cones. There's some granola bars behind that. I do need to organize this area a little bit more. We have some green olives in the back. There's a bunch of graham crackers, so ready for grilling season, I think. These are sourdough crackers that I found there a while back, and so on. We have some little popcorn mini cakes. Anyway, this is just kind of where I stock things that I find either at this store or obviously, technically it's my pantry where I keep all my canned goods, but that is running low this time of year. So that is the pantry. In the basement here, we have a couple big bags. This is brown sugar and then the rolled oats. So obviously that will last us a very long time. The first fridge freezer down here has mainly fruits in it. So like I said, guys, I'm sorry this isn't more organized. We have a bunch of frozen strawberries. We also have more frozen fruit out in the garage. We have some frozen blueberries and just kind of an assortment of things all throughout here. And then Hudson wrote me a little list of what's in stock, which is super cute. This fridge down here just holds more like overstock things that we don't have room for in our fridge upstairs. So you're seeing a lot of the things I got at the store here. And then this crate is one that we keep potatoes in. We'll store potatoes in from the garden till we run out of those, and then these are store-bought. Next up is the pork freezer, and all of this is raised here on the farm, which I'm so thankful for. We have some ham at the top, and then we have some ground sausage in the back behind that. There's a bunch of hot dogs that they made for us. We have some pork roll, which is so good in sandwiches or on burgers or just for a high protein snack. There's also some chipped ham that we have here. Some nice racks of pork ribs here, spare ribs and pork chops. And then we have some sausage. This stuff is so good. We're almost out of that, as well as a couple of pork roasts. So, and then the bottom, we have a whole bunch of scrapple. And in the door here, we have quite a bit of bacon. We actually have a little bit of frozen bananas in here that are in the wrong freezer. But that is our pork freezer. The next one over kind of is our jumbo freezer. It's supposed to have our chicken, but some of the chicken got moved into the beef freezer. But also at this point, we don't raise our own chicken, so that's a little bit more sporadic. Okay, this one needs a little help as far as our defrosting goes. It has a little trouble with that. But we have some chicken wings in here. This is actually deer bologna, which is from a deer that Josh hunted. It is so, so tasty. We have the seasoned whole chickens that we bought, a bunch of frozen raspberries, and then some more whole chickens down there. And then a bunch of pepperoni, and here's a bit of our beef broth. If you saw my video where I cook it down for just 3 days, it is so tasty and nutrient dense. And then just more, most of these are just more whole chickens. And finally down to our last freezer. This is the beef freezer. We do have a bunch of chicken thighs in here that I was telling you about that we got the previous month at that store. We also have some of these beef sticks, which is kind of like jerky. Also, all this beef is from cows here on the farm. I have my ice cream freezer in this one as well. We have a beef heart, if anyone wants to cook that. We've had that for so long, and Josh is always like, we need to cook that up sometime. And it grosses me out so bad. So I need to work up the nerve for that. If you have any good beef heart recipes, let me know. We also have a couple of roasts. We love to smoke these out on the smoker. And then we have chipped steak, which is really good to make like Philly cheesesteaks or things like that. Boxes and boxes of ground beef. I think our steaks are in the bottom box. I'm not seeing them on the top here, but we do have a bunch of steaks left as well. All right, I'm sorry, I know that wasn't very glamorous, but I hope it kind of gave you an idea of how things work as far as our food storage and what we do that works well for us. And if you do not live on a farm yourself where you can process your own meats and things like that, I would highly recommend finding a farmer in your area that you can maybe get a cow from, get a pig from, get whatever, because you can save so much money even just buying one from a farmer and then going and getting it butchered yourself versus buying the meat from a store, even splitting it with a friend if you don't have as much freezer space or whatever. But it's a great way to save money and support farmers. So anyways, on to the actual meal plan. The first thing I think of when I sit down to plan is at least one beef dish, one pork dish, one chicken dish, and some meal that's based around a salad, whether it's an actual like loaded salad or if it is like a power bowl type of thing, something along the lines with kind of a lettuce or greens base, and then also a soup, especially this time of year. So that's kind of what I go by, what I build around. And then also I really try to prioritize that each meal has protein. As far as breakfast and lunch is concerned, I don't really plan for that. Breakfast is pretty similar throughout the week, and honestly, Josh and I both do intermittent fasting, and so we don't eat breakfast. The kids usually rotate between granola and sourdough pancakes and cooked oatmeal and baked oatmeal and eggs. Lunch is leftovers from the previous night, so always at dinner time, I try to make enough that will last for 2 meals so that we have it for that evening and then the following lunch. And then the cycle just continues. Saturdays is always our burger night. I make hamburgers with the ground beef down there in the freezer, and it's always something that the kids look forward to. I mean, what kid doesn't love burgers, right? But also we'll always eat it on paper plates, and then that way it's very little cleanup in the evening. Sundays is usually 90% of the time is either we're hanging out with friends or I'm doing some sort of a charcuterie spread. And I say charcuterie loosely, it's honestly the pantry down here. It's gonna be a lot of those things. Some of the deli meats that we saw in the basement. I often hard boil eggs or whatever cheeses we have on hand. Again, kind of centering it around whatever protein dish I can get and then building around that. So that's usually what we have, just like snacks Sunday evening. So that leaves me with 5 meals per week that I need to plan, which is so much less overwhelming. I only plan 1 week at a time. So even though we shop for a month at a time, which by the way, I was actually gonna chat about that just a little bit. We spent right around $160 on everything that I showed you yesterday, which is just mind-boggling, at least for how prices are around here. I don't know what they're like where you are, but has been such a blessing to our family to be able to do it that way. And honestly, we used to, I don't know, is this TMI? I don't know if you should share how much you spend on groceries, but we used to spend $100 a week on groceries. As our family grows, as our kids get older and eat more, $100 a week for a family of 6 was kind of starting to get a little tight. And so we usually do end up running just to a little Amish store a couple times through the month, like if I need maple syrup or honey, eggs, things like that. I do still sometimes have to run and get here if I haven't found it at this other store. And so it's not exactly 160 a month, but it's pretty close to that. Probably averages out to closer to 200, but $200 a month for a family of 6 on groceries, if it's a lot of like organic things or healthier greens and fruits and things like that. We're not just eating pizza pops and Oreos, you know? That has been a big way that we can save money. So spending $200 a month instead of honestly like $400 for 4 weeks. So anyway, I knew I was gonna get the question of how much the total ended up being. Totally forgot to say yesterday. But with that in mind of 1 beef, 1 pork, 1 chicken, that whole thing, I like to sit down. I usually grab a stack of cookbooks and my phone because I do love to still look on Pinterest for recipes sometimes, or I'll just page through here. I only actually meal plan for 1 week at a time, even though we grocery shop for a month at a time. It just feels less overwhelming. Plus I kind of enjoy it like at the beginning of the week. I feel like I have more ideas if I don't sit down and do that many meals at once. So I'm just gonna start looking through a couple of my favorite cookbooks. The ones that I have here right now are this Half-Baked Harvest cookbook. I've also heard a lot of really good things about her Everyday cookbook. I would love to get that one sometime as well. We have Restorative Traditions, which has a lot of healthier meal ideas. I don't think I've ever showed this one on here before. She also has beautiful photography and yeah, a lot of healthier ingredients. Now, if I'm completely honest, a lot of these, like I don't think she uses any butter in this one. Yeah, she uses ghee a lot. Obviously, living on the farm here, I'm gonna use butter. She uses a lot of coconut milk. I would just use whole raw milk, things like that. So there's hardly any recipes in here that I will make exactly like the recipe says, but I love to kind of reference it for ideas. We have the Food from the Heart cookbook, which I know I have shown before, and then I have the Magnolia Table Volume 2 here as well. So I'm gonna page through these, we're gonna write up a quick plan, and then I'll let you know what it is. In the meantime, let me know in the comments below what is one thing on your menu today. I would love to get some ideas from you. I know I often put a question box on Instagram over what you're cooking this week. I love just kind of bouncing ideas off each other and getting ideas that way. And we have us a menu. First up for Monday are these steak shawarma bowls, which is from this Half-Baked Harvest book. This is what it looks like. Super tasty, and I thought I could put some of the Brussels sprouts in here and use some of the things we had got at the store. And then for Tuesday, I have Zuppa Toscana with sourdough bread, and I'll try to link whatever recipes I can from these in the description box below. But I thought I could use from the sausage we have downstairs and then the kale that we bought yesterday. So I'm trying to keep in mind to actually be using especially the produce that might go bad after a bit. For Wednesday is the Oriental chicken salad from Food from the Heart cookbook, obviously used from the salad greens that we got yesterday. We have the chicken. I don't have the ramen noodles, so I might leave those out. I do have some nuts, so we might put some nuts in to replace that crunch. For Thursday, I have gyros with roasted garlic tzatziki and fries and feta fries. This is what it looks like. Again, we've made it before. One of my favorite recipes. I don't have feta, but I want to use the queso fresco that we got yesterday, since that's also a crumbly cheese. And I was looking over these. I don't think we'll need to buy any groceries on the side. For Friday, we wouldn't need a salad because I do have baked potatoes on the menu. Baked potatoes with ground beef and then steamed broccoli and either sour cream or a cheese sauce. I would have the ingredients for both of those, but I saw this salad and so much want to try it. It is the winter salad from the Restorative Kitchen. Winter salad with warm bacon, molasses vinaigrette, and does it not look so good? I don't have the beets that she talks about or a fennel bulb, But to basically, I want to do a salad with, she has kale in it. I'll see if I have any leftover kale after the soup on Tuesday. But apples, which we have lots of right now. You can probably actually see them behind me there. And then the dressing looks so good. It's avocado oil, Dijon mustard, apple cider vinegar, and molasses. And I think it sounds real tasty. And then obviously Saturday is burgers, and then the corn cobs that I got the other day. And then Sunday, we're actually going away. So that is this week's menu, and that is how I go about my grocery shopping, food storage, and menu planning. I hope that it was helpful. I feel a little bit bad sharing this video just because I know that we are so privileged with being able to get milk just from the farm here and then butchering our own meat, which that is still, it's not free. We don't actually butcher it here. We raise it here and send it away to be butchered. But I know that it's privileges that many people don't have. I really hope this video doesn't come across as, I don't know, like braggy or even just like making people ungrateful for what they have. But on the flip side, I mean, some of you might get even better deals than I'm finding. But I hope whichever end of the spectrum that you're on, that this video gave you some ideas, if nothing else, like some food ideas of what you could make this week. And leave this emoji in the comments if you would like to see more meal planning / cooking type of videos. Thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, friends.
Golden, golden thing.